disk management. Okay. Okay, so we'll start from here. So whenever you do a partition, so whenever we create a partition, okay, or a new volume kind of stuff, and it is asking for a file system. The file systems are two types. File system will tell you how to store data, okay, how to allocate the data in the disk. It will tell how to allocate data, means file or data, whatever it is, in disk. So file system will tell you how to store, how to allocate, like that it will be there. So what is the meaning of format? Normally we call format for a remove everything. So when we use a word called a format, generally we think it is like a remove everything kind of stuff. But format means it is actually define file system. Which file system you want to put it, so that is called a format. Okay, not exactly removing data. Format means defining a file system. When you define or redefine, file system, define means telling this file system, okay, use this file system. So when you are define or redefine the file system, automatically data loss may occur. So obviously data, so obviously we think format means removing data, okay, so it's not completely true. And what are the file systems are there? FAT file system, NTFS file system. FAT file system, NTFS file system. Guys, FAT and NTFS, so different type of limitations are there. So that is different between operating system to operating system, FAT versions, like that. So when you are creating a partition, that time you'll get two options. One is in Windows, FAT32. So if you choose FAT32, means FAT32 limitation is 32 GB partition size. 32 GB maximum partition size. FAT is for a 4 GB partition size. Maximum support is 4 GB partition size. Okay. There's a few more differences are there, like a unit size is also different. Okay, cluster size, unit size kind of stuff. So I'm not going with the core hardware related kind of stuff. Simply remember 1 or 2 points. Okay. So if you want to format any partition size more than 32 GB, like if you have a 100 GB, 500 GB single partitions also there, 200 GB single partitions are there. So FAT is not suitable. So you have to go for a NTFS. Usually NTFS is up to 2 terabyte in Windows XP mode. Okay, in Windows XP. So what I'm saying is, no, I'm not saying about XP and all. It is up to 2 terabytes in certain things, and more than 2 terabytes also partition size support. Okay, it's not only up to 2 terabytes. So you can say NTFS. So without blindly you can say like a 2 terabytes, up to 2 terabytes or a 2 terabyte support. Okay, more than 2 terabytes also it supports. But whatsoever it may be, the support limitation kind of stuff. So one important point you want to add it is large files up. Okay, we cannot store large files. Okay, so big files like a 2 GB, 3 GB files, so kind of stuff we cannot able to store. So check that limitation. So how much maximum big size file we can able to store in the system. Okay. Next, we can store the big files. We can store the big files. No security. No security features. Of course, no encryption and security feature is there. So security does not mean virus, antivirus kind of. Okay, security does not mean virus or antivirus kind of stuff, guys. Security means file access permissions. Security means file access permissions. So what are the features of NTFS as compared to FAT? So these are the main features of NTFS. That is, first we have to know it. Disk quota or a quota. Okay. Disk quota, compression, security, compression, security, index or indexing, encryption. Encryption, problem with the encryption is nowadays for Windows 10, FAT also giving a encryption. Okay, FAT drives also giving encryptions also. Earlier FAT drives don't support encryption. In this one, what is this? Okay, for understanding each and every feature is very important. Disk quota. Okay, we can assign limited space for a user on a disk. Okay, assign a limited space for a user on a disk. So that is called a disk quota. Just for our understanding. On a disk. Disk means disk drive, like a D drive, E drive, for example. Guys, I'm explaining disk quota. Listen carefully. Am I recorded started, right? Recorded started? Yeah, it is there.
Yes, sir, already started.
Okay, so what is this disk quota? Assign limited space. I will give you an example. What is my current practical also I will show you. So this is how much it is? Around 16 GB. Around 16 GB. No data in this one. So I'll put some data inside. I can create data, but I will copy data. It's for me quite easy. I have some data. Okay. So guys, I'm a student 1. I have 2 accounts, student 1 and student 2. 2 accounts are there. This is first account. This is the administrator. Okay. And my disk size is 16 GB. Disk size is 16 GB. Okay. Example, I have a 16 GB. No, not example. I have a 200 GB drive is there. So D drive, 200 GB drive is there. Okay. Now for user 2, I want to assign okay for user 2. So user 2 can store data up to 20 GB only. For example, just for example. So what happened? It's a 200 GB disk D drive. For user 2, it's 20 GB only. So you can able to put a data up to 20 GB data he can able to store in it. Okay, for him it is 20 GB disk only, or 10 GB disk, or 5 GB disk only. Like that, we can limit the space for a particular user. So in our practical, we have a 16 GB E drive is there, right? For a student to do, I want to give him only 2 GB, maybe 4 GB. Okay, 4 GB. Okay, want to give him 4 GB drive space only. This is what I'm going to do it. So how to do it, I will show you. Okay, disk quota. This is 16 GB, guys. Look at here, 16 GB. Right click on this E drive, properties. So can we see this one? Quota. This is a 16 GB drive. 16 GB drive. Can you see quota option?
Yes.
Okay, this is the quota. So E drive, properties, quota, show quota settings, Then quota settings are open. See, this is a quota settings. First of all, we should enable the quota. You want to put a quota means you have to enable the quota. Enable the quota. Now you are giving a quota, right? So you are giving a quota to a user. What I'm saying is, this is the days, okay, and specifically this is the volume, okay, and its the size is, for example, 200 GB size. But for user to this days, out of this days, he can able to use only 20 GB only. Okay, for user 2, it is 20 GB only. Okay, it means he cannot put more than 20 GB. What it is? He cannot put more than 20 GB data in the 200 GB disk. This is the D drive. This is also D drive for him. Same goes here. Okay, it's a 16 GB disk. User should not exceed the quota limit. So then compulsory to the check mark. So read the option. So enabling the quota, first enable it. Deny disk space to users exceed a disk quota, means don't allow user to use more than his space. Okay, so two things. And if you want log events, it means how much user is utilizing the space, quota is exceeding or not exceeding. You want a log events, you can select it. If you don't select it, also no problem. So remember, first two compulsory check it. These two are optional. But read it, what is the meaning of that one? It will generate events. So based on the user exceeding warning levels, like that. Okay. Now go to quota entries. In the quota entry, add the second user, like a quota, new quota entry. You can see quota, new quota entry, or you can go to this new quota entry. You can go for here also. So quota, new quota entry. Add a username here by typing the username, or you can go to advanced, click on advanced, find now, click find now. Student 2, I'm assigning student 2. Okay, click OK. So then it is showing here. Then click OK. Then it is asking to not limit the disk usage or limit the disk usage. Select the limit disk usage. I'm limiting in the GB manner. So I'm putting 4 GB maximum he can able to put the data. So 3.6 GB maximum he can able to Good. So once you reach 3.6 GB data into disk, like 80%, usually 75 or 80% limitation is there. Warning limit means you have a 20 GB disk. Okay, so 80% means exactly say 80% means you have a 100 GB disk. You have a 100 GB disk. Once you reach 80% of 100 GB means 80 GB full. You have a 100 GB disk. You fill the almost you put a 80% means 80 GB you put a data. Automatically warning will generated. Warning will be generated, notifications, email ID, events, event triggering like that. So you are utilizing maximum of your disk space. Please try to remove your data. So that is your warning like so. Okay. So 4 GB limited space. Set warning level is 3.6 like that. So 80% generally we should put it. You can put it less also, no problem. Okay. 80 plus 80, 16, 32, 3.2 usually 80% means. Okay. For 10, 80% means 8, 20, 16, 40, 32. So 3.2 GB. It's not a correct order, but it is okay. Okay. Limited space is for 32. Why it is like that? It depends upon my scenario or a question. So what I have to do? 16 GB disk space. I want to give only 4 GB for student 2. And warning level is 3.2 GB. Then click OK. Then it is automatically created. See, it is created. So what you have to do? You have to click close and apply. OK. OK. Then sign out the PC and verify. Sign out the PC and sign in with the student to verify how much student 2 is getting. But I'm not doing like that. Just I'm canceling it. Why I'm canceling? Guys, again, this is my 16 GB E drive. Okay, I don't want to allow my student to use entire my 16 GB space. I want to use my student to in E drive. On E drive, he can store up to 4 GB data. He can use only 4 GB disk space only. He can use 4 GB disk space only. He cannot use more than it. And guarantee the user get a 4 GB because this is E drive, right? E drive can be accessed by any user. Like a C drive can be accessed by any user, the free space. The drive space can be used by any user by generally. Okay, so any user can use it, but what I'm saying is the user too will get guaranteed 4 GB space, and also he cannot cross the 4 GB. Two things you will get it. Quota means reservation type. No one will occupy your space. No one will occupy your space, and as well as you cannot occupy more than your space. You cannot occupy more than your space. So like that it is there. Guys, now tell me how to give a 4 GB quota on the E drive to the student 2. Tell me step by step. Who will tell? Who will tell? Jishan, tell me how to create a 4 GB quota on the 16 GB E drive for a student 2. Step by step.
Sir, left click, properties,
Right
sir.
click, right click, right click.
Right click.
Properties. Very good. Next.
Quota.
Very good.
Show quota settings, sir.
Very good.
Enable the quota management.
Hmm.
Deny disk space for user exceeder.
This is optional.
Okay. Quota entry, sir.
1 second,
Yeah.
please. I have to delete this one.
For new quota entry, sir. Advanced, sir. Fine now. Student 2, sir. Okay. Disk limit for 4 GB, sir. Okay.
Okay, you can able to see like this. Okay, so I'm closing. Apply. Okay. 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 So we done, but we don't know it because it's not showing any output here because we are in a student one. Student one is the administrator. So I am going to sign out and sign in with the student two. So guys, always remember we do practicals like this. Okay, either one system to another system communication. So yesterday you guys are told, no, sir, we got a long process that VM settings and all. That is one system to another system communication. Second one is within the system only one user to another user. You do with one user, we verify with another user. Okay, this kind of practicals are there. So compulsory, you must know which user you done on which user you have to verify. So same thing here it is. Student one is a administrator. So what I have done? So log in with the student one first of all. Now right click on E drive because I have E drive. Okay, so E drive, right click on E drive. So why we should go like that? E drive. So first of all, go to this PC, E drive, then right click. Okay, right click properties. Search for a quota tab. That is tab. The people will call that one as tab. Show quota entry. Show quota entry. So go to the quota entry. First one is enable quota. Something is there. Next one is deny some kind of stuff. That is we have to look at and we have to do that one. Okay. So next one is quota entry button. Okay. So there is a quota entry button. So there we have to new quota entry. Okay. So go to new quota entry. Okay. You have to add a user. So I think you understand the user. New quota entry advanced. Find now. Okay. Okay. Select student 2. Okay. So select student 2 and limit option for the GB manner and warning 3.2 GB. Close. Apply. Okay. Then sign out. Student 1. Sign in. Student 2. Verify. E-drive. Like that. So sign out. Completed. Student 2. Sign in. Still it is coming. Yeah. Open the Explorer. Windows E also you can press. To open this one, you can press the Windows E. So can you see this is 4 GB only. This is E drive. You can see the data which is given by student 1. But if you go to properties, can you see this is 4 GB. Original is 16 GB. Okay. This is 4 GB. Okay. So you can store the data in this one up to 4 GB. The data by you student 2. What are the data stored by student 2? He can able to student 2 can able to put the data up to 4 GB. Up to 4 GB, and he will get a 4 GB space in the 16 GB permanently. He cannot put more than 4 GB, and he can use up to 4 GB. So both are there. Okay. So guys, understand this practical 4 GB practical. So how to understand like that? Like really, can you able to put up to 4 GB? Can we put more than it? So very simple. Just create a data in this one more than 4 GB. Okay. You can directly create the data more than 4 GB here by using commands, or copy a data from any other places. Like you can copy a data from like this. Also you can do it. But it is not. Yeah. Drag and drop the data. We'll see how much data it is, but it will take a lot of time. If you do like this, it take a lot of time. These are all our recording only. Okay, small files are okay, but big files will take time. So yeah, copy it. Now again, it will take a little time to paste here. Okay. So double time copying. Not double time. It is actually from my physical machine to virtual machine. First virtual machine cache mode, cache to in a drive, it will copy. They finally completed. There's a lot of options are there in a VMware workstation, guys. Okay, only thing is you should know how to do it, how to understand how to work with that one. Okay, that's a very simple. Okay, like this. See, it is occupied only 2.76 GB only, 2.76 GB only. It is utilized. Okay, so you can put like a data up to 4 GB, but it will take a lot of time for me to create a data like a 4 GB here. Of course, I can create a data without having any data copying inside. I can do it, but again, I have to do all the commands and all. So I'm not doing now. So because it's already slow. Guys, understand or not? Disco quota. Understand how to do the practical. Hmm? Guys, today is Saturday. I am unnecessarily putting to cover the practical because yesterday evening I wasted time. Morning I explained something that is useful, but I took a lot of time for that one. Okay. If you give some response, then based on that I can move forward, or I want to explain again, or we will do practical together. Like that, anything we can plan. Okay. So the next one is student one. So again, I'm logging back to student one. Okay, I will leave like this. I will explain this. The next one is compression. What is the compression? Compress the disk. Okay. Compress the disk. So we can compress the data. So we get more space in disk. Or you can compress the data or compress the disk also. Both we can able to do it. So then we get more space in the disk. So we can store more data. Okay, so that is a compression feature. So how to do compression? Directly right click on the drive. Yeah, some blinking message. Huh? Please explain networks topic. Which time you are asking which question? Okay. Yeah, understood, Siva Prasad. Very good. Compress the data so that you can do it. Okay, so like how to do compression kind of stuff. Right click on the drive and we can able to. So I'm going to my student one admin @1. How much time it is taking? Okay, so this is the download button. Sorry, it is this PC. Okay, meanwhile I will show in my PC only. So like this. So this is almost, you can see the data is occupying more space. Guys, in your physical machine, don't do this compression kind of stuff. Just to show the option only I'm showing. Okay, go to the properties. You can do compress this drive to save the disk space. Compress this drive to save the disk space. So if you see, this is 531 GB disk, but I put lot of data, almost 460 GB data I put it in inside. Okay, so I'm getting only 71 GB free space. 71 GB free space is there. Now what is the problem? I want to put more data. So what I have to do? You can compress this disk to save the space. Of course, in your physical machine, if you got this condition, like for your C drive, D drive or anything, you got like this condition, like you have a disk space and you got lot of data inside and you got a very less free space. You can use disk cleanup also. Disk cleanup, error checking, defragmentation. Okay, there's a three important things for a troubleshooting disk. Okay, one is disk cleanup, error checking, optimization. That is for a, that is you can use any PC, any PC. This is for just to know what is compression. So compress this data to save the disk space. So you want to get more space in the disk to store more data, you can compress the disk. One is disk compression. Next one is data compression. For example, I have a data. If you go to the properties of the data, so like it's a 40 GB folder. This batch 7 got a 40 GB folder. Okay, go to advanced. There you can find compress the content to save the disk space. Compress the content to save the disk space. Okay, so you can compress the data, so then you can save the disk. You can compress the disk, so you can able to save the space in the disk. So like this, what I said, like where it is gone, where my compression is gone. This is sign out, sign in. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I've written compress the disk, so then you can what is compress. Okay, so here it is. How to compress? Very simple. Go to the drive. For example, D drive. Don't do it, guys. Just for a knowing only. D drive. Right click. Properties. Okay, properties. Then there is a check option is there. Compress this drive to save disk space. Is it showing or it is showing in different way? To save the disk space. This is disk compression. This is for your disk compress. You're compressing whole disk. You're compressing whole disk. Next, data compress. You can compress the data by default tool like that. So again, so on data, for example, data 1 directory, on data, right click. Okay, it's my directory or a data file, anything. So anything, file or folder, you can file or a folder. Which data you want it? Big data. So right click, again properties, advanced, compress the data to save disk space. Check once more again. So go to any data, right click, properties. No, not like this. Click on properly, guys. Click properly. So then compulsory, this must be shown correctly. Sometimes it will show H drive, means you are doing on H drive. So compulsory check it. So compress content to save disk space. Compress contents. Compress the content to save the disk space. So this is data compression. Okay. Compress. Next one is security. So before going to security, I will tell about indexing. So index the data. So we can easily which one? So you can easy to search the data or application. Okay, so like this. So indexing, I will show you indexing in my PC. Okay, so first of all, I want to search for a particular file. So I want to search for some PPT or a document. So 27 on 27th/01, I took some class, right? So .txt file is there. It is searching in my PC, and as well as the web searching is also doing, and it is unable to find. Recently data is only, it will maybe it will shows Tomcat. It is searching in my Tomcat where it is located. Okay, other related kind of stuff. Okay, so thing is, guys, we have a data in the system. So the data is indexed. So then we can easily search here or open this one C drive. You can search here. So then we can able to find the data very quickly. Okay, with the extensions also. Okay. The thing is, first go to control panel. Yeah. Go to control panel. See what is that index option. We can directly get index options from here. First of all. Okay. Yeah. Indexing option. So what is this indexing options? It will index our data and store the index data into some location. So like you can modify which locations, select change selected location. So what are the things will be indexed and store the indexing. So we can easily search for that particular data. Okay. This is advanced button. So what type of files you want to index? So based on the extensions. Okay, see, what type of files should be indexed, that is file types, and index encrypted files are not. Treat similar words with diacritics as different words, troubleshooting, rebuilding, like this. This is the location of your indexed data. What is indexing? Simply you buy a book. On a book, there is index is there, no? What is the use of index? Is easy to search particular chapter or a particular information like that, no? First section of the chapter. Okay, like we can easily search based on a page number. Simply like indexing help you that one. Okay, and I open like this. Actually, we should get a advanced option, not a this option. Okay. See, I click on this particular file, that is a virtual hard disk file. Advanced. This is index. Second one. Allow file to contains index in additional file properties. Second option. This is file is ready for archiving, but second one is allow this file to have contents indexed in addition to file properties. Okay, so that is a indexing option. You can go for this one as a folder. This is the folder name, advanced. See, can you see this one? Index. So this is index your data, so then it is easy to search. So that is a indexing. So last two things are there, guys, in this one. So one is security, another one is a encryption. Can I continue or anybody need a break?
No need, sir.
Continue.
Continue. So I will complete these two things, then we will give you a break. Okay. So everything is in one single shot only. We'll see. So for next one is security. Next one is security. What is security? It is allow or deny any user can access file. Okay. This allow or deny a user can access file means can read or write permissions, kind of stuff. So access permissions actually say allow or deny. This actually security means access permissions. What is access permissions? Allow or deny a read permission, write permissions, like that. So that is a security. Some people think security means it is a virus and antivirus only. No, only that, guys. You have a data. Okay? You have a data, so data can be accessible. Okay, so like that. So this is also called as ACL. Some people call this one as a NTFS security, because to more specifically they put a NTFS security, ACL kind of stuff. ACL means access control list in the networking, but here is also same thing as ACL. For example, guys, here it is. This is access permission to a user, local user or network user, through network. Network user means through network. Okay, access permission to. So it will do allow and deny. No. Allow or deny permissions to read, write, execute full permissions, full control. Okay, so it will give you that. So and so on. So there is sometimes different type of things are there. Okay, so we can give permission. It means yellow or a deny kind of stuff for users and groups also. So that is a security is a very important in a Windows system, Linux system, Windows server systems also there. So this is the concept is very beautiful concept. Guys, in our practical, we do like this. In a student one, so I log in with a student one. Okay, I log in with the student one. Okay, so I create a file. I have a file called some yes file one dot txt. The txt is enough. Okay, now I put some data. Okay, I put some line. Now what I'm doing for student 2 can read yes file one dot txt and cannot write yes file one dot txt. So this is the practical. So what I'm doing is yellow. So here it is. Remember. So what I will do student 2 in the yellow part. Yellow read and deny write. Very simple. I'm allowing reading, denying writing. You can deny read and write also. You can deny read and write also. So we'll see how to do it. If you understand what happens, we'll see. Guys, when you do this practical, compulsory create a file either in a C drive directly like this. Under C drive directly, or you can do it in a D drive. Either it is in C drive or it is in a D drive. So don't put a data in the your desktop or documents, downloads, and you want to verify it, you cannot verify. So common data access locations only, you should create a file. So what I'm going to do is, I'm a student one. So make sure that you're a student one or not, means first user or not, administrator or not. Okay. Next, I'm going to create a file. So I said I will create a file, right? So I said my file name is s-file1. Okay. .txt or not, we don't know. No? So go to view, select this option. The .txt. Whatever it is, no problem. It's a file. That's it. This is s-file1 and yellow read deny write. So what I've done, I added some lines. Save it. Okay, done. So student one created a file and I'm changing the permissions. Right click, properties. Okay, so make sure that when you see a properties, it is showing the name. It is showing name. Okay, This is my file. Okay, right click, properties. Can you see file name? File name properties. Compulsory, guys. Otherwise, what happen? You open properties on E drive and you are trying to do something. So be careful when you are doing it. Okay. Can you see the security tab? Go to security tab. Go to security tab. And by others, these are default groups on the E drive. This will be automatically came on the file. Why? Because of inheritance permissions. Because of inheritance permissions. So go to advanced and you can see that one, inheritance. Because of the inheritance of permissions on the E drive, same permission set will come to this file only because of the inheritance. So whatever it is, I don't want to involve in the inheritance mode kind of stuff. You can disable the inheritance. You can give the explicit permissions. This is inheritance. Okay, this is called inheritance permissions. And also you can give explicit. Explicit means remove the disable the inheritance and give the individual permissions. And that is heavy for now. So what I'm doing is security tab, edit, simply add whatever it is, simply add advanced, find now, scroll down, find out where is the student 2. This is my student 2. Click OK, click OK. Now student 2 is there. Click on the student 2. First click it, make sure it is blue in color like this. Background, blue color. Click on the student 2. And if you see here it is, read is already yellow. Write is not permission. Write permission is not there. Write permission is not there. I'm giving write deny permission. Even if you don't give a write permission, user can able to write on the file. Possibility is there. How? I will tell later. But look at these others like users, administrators, authenticated users, like that. Okay. So, but just look at here, student 2. Read is already check mark is there. Yellow read already there. Deny write. Under write, so you can see write. If you want, deny read and write. Deny read and write means student 2 cannot read, cannot write. Student 2 cannot read or cannot write. But I want to give read permission and I don't want to give write permission. So write deny, read allow. Apply. Okay, like this. Okay. So what it is, guys? Now again, once again, tell me. Read allow, write deny. How to give? This is on this file. Who is next? After Zishan. Subhash is there.
Ramesh.
No. Tell me how to give the permission.
Properties. Security. Edit. Add user. Advanced. Find now. Student 2.
Very good.
Okay.
Right? Deny.
Deny.
Okay.
Apply.
Very good. So make sure that it is highlighted. Apply. Yes. Okay. Oh, so make sure like you can put a student 2. You can see directly like what permissions are there. Read is yellow, write is deny. Click OK. Now what to do? You given a permission means verify. What to verify? Sign out from the user and sign in with the other user. You can switch is also okay. Sometimes it's not okay. The sign out is easy. No problems in sign out. Guys, why I'm telling, particularly tracing on these practical 2-3 times, and that too very sad thing is other people are not attended. Okay, this is very regular. You whatever the project you are doing, whether your service days, non-service days, whatever it is, so most common system, very system basic thing. Understanding of security, understanding of disk management, okay, like that. Okay, that's a very common thing. And also someone asked me, Pandu asked me like about a networking related. So that is also we'll see the sharing folders. Okay, yeah. System is booted. Now I'm a student 2. I'm a student 2. So confirm that one. So where is my file? E drive. Yes, file 1. So can I read it? Yes, I can able to read it. Can I write it? This is student 2. So I can able to write it. So we'll see. Save it. Save it. Okay. Yes. Do you want to replace existing? Okay. Yes. Then now it is showing an error. What is showing? You do not have permission to open this file. See the owner of the file or the administrator to obtain the permission. So you don't have a permission to save the content, save the file or write the file content. So because it is denied to user. Guys, understand this one? You cannot save the data. Anyway, it will whenever you close this one, again it will ask, do you want to save it or not? If you click on save also, okay, and click on save, yes, it show the error only like that. Cancel it, close it, don't save, and it is closed. Very good. If you see, the data is not showing, which is I've written earlier, data is not showing. We change the name and save. Yes, okay. Save as we'll try. Okay, so okay, so this is student 2 add line. So I put some line. So instead of save, what I will do, I do save as with a different name. So same name, it's not going to save. Different name, we'll do it like a 1 1. Extra added a 1 2 3. Like it is already 1 is there. I put a 2 3. Save. Now it is saved. See. So this is the saved page. See, it is file 1 2 3 with the data. Okay, file 1 2 3 with this line, but file 1 not with that line. Okay, save as is working, save is not working. Okay, but actually when you given a deny, even a save as also should not work. Earlier it is not working, but I don't know why Windows updated version in the NTFS it's working. Okay, so usually save as should not be work also. Save and save as both won't work. Both won't work. You can save with a different name. Also should not work, but it is working here. Okay, OS related things. But thing is, when you given a deny permission, so you cannot able to write on it. Again, for S file 1 only. some data is there. You are unable to add the data, but you are saved as, but you can't able to save it. So this is NTFS permission.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, if you want to copy that information from the file,
You can copy.
okay. But we are not saving.
What you want, like you have a file, you can able to read the data. You want to copy the content of the data to another file, you can do it.
Yeah.
So my security level up to read, yellow, write it. You can't modify the file. That's it. You can create another file or like a save as or copy the data into someone, something like that. And of course, there is a question is also there, not in your interest, it's a general question it is. For example, I have a file here, I copied with a different name. Is permissions or changes or not? Given permission or changes or not? Next one is, I have a file and I copy the file into different drive. I copy the file into different drive. Is permissions are changing or not? Next one, I have a file. I cut the file and paste the file into different drive. I cut the file and paste the file into different drive. Is the permissions are going to change or not? So that is the questions are there. Compulsory, guys. Very good doubts. Like we have to verify. Without verifying, you cannot confirmly tell this won't work like that. Okay, that is very important. So I'm in a, again I'm back to my student one. Okay, so it is the same file. Yes, file one. Properties, security, student 2, edit. What I want to do is select the student 2, guys, compulsory, make sure it is blue color highlights like this, student 2. I'm giving a like this, deny all permission or a modify is there, no? So modify like, so read and write permissions or deny, or you can deny everything also, no problem. But currently what I'm doing is only read and write permissions are selected. Read and write. So user student 2 now cannot able to read it, cannot able to write it. Apply. Okay. So now see this one. Deny read and write permissions for a student 2. So select student 2, go to edit, select student 2, select under deny read and write. Okay. Now I given a permission is like a read and write permission. So go to the student 2, like directly can go, no problem. You are signing out, switching. Okay, so where is the data? E drive. Yes, file 1. You cannot read it. You cannot read it. Even you cannot see what is there inside. So what happened? You can't able to read the data. So you don't have a permission to open this file. See the owner of the file or a administrator to obtain the permission. Okay, even it is showing untitled, means this is just a notepad application only. It is just a notepad application, nothing is there here. So I denied read and write permissions on the particular file. Just understand security.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In the NTFS, one more is there that is called a encryption. One more is there that is a encryption. Guys, better to take a break. I will tell a encryption separately because encryption big process is there. Okay, so compulsory for encryption. Again, so many steps. Like a security, see how many steps are there? Like we have to go to this user, we have to go to that user. So to avoid a confusion and all. Same goes for encryption also there. Encryption also be used for a security purpose. It encrypt the data. Encryption. Where is this? Yeah. Encryption encrypts the data. Encryption encrypt the data. Encrypt the data. Okay. Only a user can access the data if user has a key or a certificate. Encryption key or an encryption certificate is there, then user can able to access data. Okay, or you can rewrite this thing also. Okay, if user has a key, then user can able to access data. Encrypt the data, it means user cannot access data without a. Also you can rewrite like I'm rewriting like this. User cannot access the data without key or a certificate. Without a key or a certificate, he cannot access the data. That is called a encryption. So guys, take a break, at least 10 minutes. So we'll do encryption after break.